It's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's Mission Brief, foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous, and Vegas Vacation, Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, the Magician, Sebastian K approaches the line. Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Ooh, howdy, extinguish those griddles and don't forget to use your turn signals. The harness action's picking up as we get off the 405 into clear traffic. A little bit of congestion though on the I-83. You might want to watch out going westbound, especially if you're heading towards the turnpike at this fine hour of wrist clock, which in daylight savings time hours, of course, is more of a palm o'clock hour. Ladies, gents, everyone in between, ladies and gents, either on couches, on spectrums, on other forms of furniture from which people can sit and remain sedentary upon. Please just stop clapping. I don't get why everyone's clapping. I don't get why I'm hearing clapping from everyone, especially since I shouldn't be able to hear anybody outside of my own house clapping for me and welcoming me to my own show. It really much is unnecessary, but I understand the sentiment and respect it to an almost a heinous degree. Mike Bozy Adams Jr. also joined me because this is what show is this? North American Harness Update. I forget what show it is because I do so many shows a week. I do shows in Istanbul. I do shows in Kuwait. I do shows in Bangladesh. I do shows everywhere. And then at the end of the day, I still find the gumption deep within my colon to get down to this basement and not forget to be on Bruce Brady's Power Hour. This is not Bruce Brady's Power Hour. I'm doing that next week. This is North American Harness Update, where we have lots of racing action to go over. I would ask Mike and Rod how they're doing, but I know they're doing fine, so we'll get on into the action. We have racing from the Raceway at Western Fair District to go over the NAHU Pick4, covering races 8 through 11, getting ready to go in about 12 minutes.
And so they're starting race 8.
Yes, races 8 through. Did I say 8 through 12?
Yeah, so they're only on 7.
Oh, because if it's 8 through 12, that's 5 races, contrary to 12 minus 8 being 4. Because there's no math to really abide by in this godforsaken world of. What world are we on again? We also have racing from the Meadowlands and Mohawk to go over. The Can-Am Pick4 taking center stage on our show tonight. Races 10 and 11 from the Meadowlands. Our legs 2 and 4. I got it backwards. Races 10 and 11 from Woodbine to Mohawk Park. Legs 1 through 3 in that sequence. It's been paying decently when it doesn't chalk out, like it has the last couple of weeks. May chalk out again, may not. You'll just have to wait to find out. Or maybe just bet it, and then at the end, when all the favorites win, just go, why did I bet this thing? It's really, at the end of the day, what we're all in this sport for. Alongside that, we have the Confederation Cup Final. The Olymps went last week over at Flamborough Downs, and we also have the opening weekend to Running Aces. They open tomorrow, Saturday, May 18th, but we'll be going over and previewing the 20-cent jackpot Pick 5 for Sunday, May 19th. Sundays usually handle better than Saturdays, but of course, as Running Aces picks up its harness meet, I imagine that there'll just be hopefully increases in wagering overall. Maybe even from my wallet. That is, if I have enough money to wager. But now, we need to. Rod, I swear to God, just use the English language. You don't need to use caveman noises.
You're doing enough talking for the both of us.
Well, Rod thinks he has the gusto to be a lawyer and the Crisco to be a greased up boy in a greased up boy band. But let me tell you something, Rod. Yeah, I don't even think you have the GPA to get into chef school. Even though
you suck.
Even though, why am I getting text messages? Yes, it is actually. I'm getting word now from our radio manager that he's giving me actual traffic updates. Phil Hung of SRN1 texts me that the 405 is fine this time of day, Ray. Sends me a bit.ly link, and it's a picture of the 405 being entirely clear.
You need to ask Phil why he's always updating like the perverted news. Like it's always some dude that's whacked a woman, or like somebody that was kidnapped and was like there's all kind of stuff on there that probably could go without saying. I think.
I don't know why is it that when I turn on the news, it's about 4 teenage boys who thought it was a good idea to take a vacation to North Korea, and then afterwards go, man, we really feel for the boys. When you deep down, you're going, wait a second, why couldn't they just go to like Cuba or some other country where they might not, get destroyed? But I must digress from the fact that we still at SRN1, which we also air on, it's news. You can't dictate the news. You know what happens when you dictate the news? You live in a third world country, an autocracy, a dictatorship, an oligarchic monarchy, and other forms of smart words that I just I swear to God, you were given the gift of language so you could use it. You do not get a car for your 16th birthday and then try to use it like a motorcycle. It does.
I feel like Rod's very appropriate with the noises so far. Like it's spot on.
No, because you use words to speak. You don't use Family Feud sounds from 2006 on.
I know those noises work way better for interruption than words.
Right.
That's just incorrect. I'm sorry. It's wrong. It is at the end of the day, which is I'm proving your point wrong. Like I'm still talking. I'm not going to stop talking. This is where I put.
Ray's about to be talking on the radio only.
I have both feet down for this. I'm not standing for it. In fact, I'm gonna sit now. Because I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've had 12 straight hours of handicapping, and I want to go to sleep. But I can't, because we have the NAHU Pick4 to talk about. There can never be no more racing. There's no rest for the wicked. There ain't no God on trees, or however the hell that Cage the Elephant song goes. The NAHU Pick4 starts with race 8 over at the Raceway Western Fair District. It's a $15,000 condition claimer, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to open with past performances, and it's going to be like the London Downs Stakes finale or whatever. But it's a 15,000 condition claimer. I'm right. I have not lost all of my marbles yet. It probably helps that I keep them in my handy-dandy marble pouch in my back right pocket. We got 8 horses going postward in the first leg of the NAHU Pick4. Started off here with, I don't want to knock over my laptop, because if I do, that is $1,000 I will never get back. We'll start off with Rod, because Rod, you open up the sequence deeper than all of us, and part of me thinks it's because you have money to spend.
No, that's not why. It's because I think there's 4 different horses that can win this 8th race.
You think so?
Starting with the one Smile in Style. Draws inside again. Last week, raced pretty well, I thought. That race was basically over from the start with a horse that just drew off and absolutely crushed. Nobody could really pass anybody because they came home so fast in that race, 57 and 1 last half there. So I thought the horse raced good. Gets the rail here. Should be right up close, maybe even looking for the 2-hole or even going to the lead. So I think that one's a must play from the inside. The 2 Hallelujah for Sylvain Lacaille came from way back last week, got away last, and only got beat a length and a quarter. Very good race there. Should be closer tonight with the post shift. Another one that I think you should just throw on. The 3, and now there's you for Danielle Neal and Mark St. Louis. This one's been pretty sharp the last couple starts. Just, ran into that tough horse last week. Finished a solid second. And, getting away from that horse is really the key here. Going to probably be favorite or second favorite here, along with the 5 Northern Belle. I'm fading a touch here, but the horse definitely plays, dropping back into the claimers where she won 2 starts back. So, the last 2 times she's been in this class level, she's won, and she's going to be tough once again, dropping back down here. But, she's another one. If she doesn't get the lead, she might not pass anybody, so we'll see what happens here. But I'm 1, 2, 3, and 5.
That's the thing I don't get is it doesn't seem like the 5 Northern Belle gets anything but the lead. And Mike, I feel like you agree with that sentiment because you only use one other horse in this race.
Yeah, I don't know. Rod could be right. He knows this place a little better than me, but I feel like that it's between the 3 and the 5. The 3's more a trainer play, and a post switch. St. Louis stays on. This horse, came to London last time and was 20 to 1 at Flamborough. Raced just okay. Was less than 2 to 1 from the 6th hole, and didn't bad, but just wasn't catching the 5 in that race. A little bit of a post switch now. Should, I'd imagine, be in the pocket to the 5, and I feel like it's just those 2. A lot of these other ones just really don't make any impression in most races. Really don't have the speed of the other 2. I hope to spread in other places, and I'll be chalky in the first race, 3-5.
The 5 Northern Belle should win this race, seeing as 2 starts back when she was in this group. When Rod mentioned she won by 8 lengths. The 3, and now there's you, was second by 8 lengths in that race. So if anything, it seems like Northern Belle towers over this entire division. She tried moving outside of the claiming ranks into tougher stock, and clearly was not capable of beating those kind of horses. So now on the move back, it seems like it's not necessarily a speed thing, because last start she had the second tier and was interfered with, so right off the bat she couldn't go the exact mile she probably needed to in that race. She's returning to the class she's had the most success with. I don't think there's going to be much of a bounce. If she doesn't win, the only horse I could possibly see is the 2 Haley Luya, who hasn't necessarily faced the 5 horse. I had to make sure that I was right there. Has not really faced the 5 horse. Went up against Tougher last time out for the $15,000 tag, and closed from post 7 to finish 4th. Only finished a length behind the winner after being 13 lengths off at the quarter, and finally gets a good draw for once. So maybe from that inside post, she's a bit more involved on the class drop. But again, they got to beat Northern Belle, who's probably just better than all of these. I'm 2-5 in the first leg of that pick 4. The second leg is the
8. The 3's had the rail the last 2 starts and won. And I just feel like that this is a little bit more wide open. You got the 2 moving inside from outside post that flashes speed. You have the 1 who had an interference break last time. You just completely pitched that off the layoff. The 4 qualified okay at Woodbine. And that horse, has some backlines on half mile tracks. I just feel like that if it's not the 3, then there's a number of different ways you can go in the race. I'm a little bit chalky in the first, and I think that all button in this race, with any kind of speed from the 2 hanging the 3 out, could make it very interesting. So I'll look for a little bit of chaos here and hope maybe some of these outside horses get in the mix early. I'll go all and move on.
So now, Rod, after going so deep in the first leg, in the second leg, you're not as deep.
No, not quite. I'm going to start the second leg with the 3 Vindaloo Hanover. Has won 2 straight, going for 3 straight now, and the form is just too good. Went first over last week and held him off late. Was tired at the end of that mile, but, this horse has been racing extremely well. I can't fault what she's doing, so I use her again. The 5 Massive Pajama Party. I use this one based on the form. Last week had the 7 hole, left, sat there, and actually had some late trot at the end of the mile. Raced very well there. Should look for another trip and could fire right off the car. to make it interesting early. And then the 8 Never Tell from the second tier. You get a big post shift here. Last week, race well on the lead, just got beat right at the wire. Lorenhouse has just been missing with a lot of horses recently, so maybe this one, if he gets the right trip, could be the one to push him out of that slump where he's 2 for 77, but he's got 17 seconds. So I think this one's got a big shot as long as the trip works out. 3-5-8.
17 seconds. He's on his way to a full minute. I got 2 horses in this race. Vindaloo Hanover's the obvious one, having won, as I mentioned in the preface to this leg. He won at this class in her last 2 starts. And sure, she had the inside post, but the fact that she's racing from more off of the speed while still sitting close to it, I think that the post 3 draw is not necessarily going to impact her too greatly. The only other horse I felt really had much of a shot in this race, of course, is the 5 Massive Pajama Party, who is moving up in class from the numbers of 5,000 ranks to the $12,000 mark. But really, that's not really too big of a class hike. Looking at the rest of this field, that's just trying to cross the wire before even thinking about winning the race. But Massive Pajama Party from post 7 last time did finish 3rd, showed a bit of speed. Sit up close, didn't necessarily gain enough